Thank you very much for joining me. How you been? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Steve Renazizi. I'm the guy. I'm the guy fucking lit.
Welcome to the podcast with the odds with Steve Renazizi. It's June 3rd, I believe, right? Brenton, am I right?
Friday, June 3rd.
And as I record this, Brenton is telling me that he will never get an iPhone because it doesn't work. And every text message I send out, like, the one we start the podcast with, here's what we're starting, here's when we're starting. Someone doesn't get in our little three-way group thread here between Lucas, Brenton, and I, and it's because Brenton doesn't have a fucking iPhone. And
it's always Lucas that doesn't get in. It's always Lucas. Something's going on with his
Lucas,
Wi-Fi.
Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Who was here?
Yeah.
I was here.
It doesn't go through, Brenton.
Every time it works for me. I was here.
You're
what are you
fucking
talking
this whole thing
about?
up. I am so sick of it. If you don't get
it was
a
Lucas.
iPhone, and don't tell me
he wasn't here. It's always him.
It's because you cock it up the whole. I have green.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this screen. This screen is pristine. I've dropped it. I've had this phone for 3 years. I've dropped this phone so many times. It is in perfect mint condition. I will never get an iPhone. They're pieces of junk.
You've had your phone for 3 years?
Yeah.
Choke on it, dude.
It still works as good as it did day one and looks great.
I am so upset the fact that you are refusing to help us all out by getting a fucking iPhone. I made you a goddamn millionaire, and now you can't buy yourself an iPhone? Why? Because you don't think... What were you saying?
There are better products out in the market.
You were infuriating me. What were you saying about the iPhone specifically that was infuriating me? I can't remember what it was.
The screen, it's weaker than baby skulls. You drop it once and it shatters.
How many babies?
Then you got to go to the Genius store. You got to wait in line. You have to have a reservation. You got to be around people. No.
Are you telling me right now that
if something happens to this, I can take it to any person in any outlet mall and they can fix it in 2 seconds. They don't have some weird monopoly.
You're telling me right now your phone breaks, you can bring it to the fucking Cinnabon at the store at their
absolutely
mall,
and
the
they'll
guy
know how to
that
fix
works
it.
Cinnabon, it's going to be able to be fixed your fucking phone.
But good luck breaking this thing. I could smash this with a hammer right now. I wouldn't be able to do anything to it.
Brenton, get a fucking iPhone and catch up with the rest of the fucking world, please. I'm trying to stay in contact with you. Okay? Don't give me this fucking
I was here.
Theory horse shit. Oh, they slow your shit
Everyone's
down.
watching. Roll the tape back. Who wasn't here when it started? The links are coming
started
through.
The fucking podcast.
I was here.
Start on time.
One of us wasn't here. Someone's shit's broken. It's not mine.
Look. Excuse me.
Nice.
All I ask is that you just don't continue to block the fucking messages. When I send the messages to the two of you, it always comes up green. I gotta wait for the line to go through because you refuse to get up with the fucking time. So that's our problem.
I don't want you to know what I'm doing. I don't want you to know that I've read a message. Maybe I don't want to answer right away. I got my life to live.
Our fan deserves better. They really do. Our fan deserves better. Whoever is listening to this deserves better than you, Brenton, and they don't get it. And look, it is what it is. This is you are the cross I have to bear in life, and I'm happy about it. And I've given you everything you have in your life, and I get that. Everything you have is due to me, but sometimes you just get on my nerves with this fucking this stupid shit that could
Steve,
help
I did a quick Google.
What?
87%, 87, that's an 8 and a 7 of the world market uses Android. You, sir, are behind. I am an international renaissance man. 87% of the world is on Android. Apple has a 13% share of the market globally. They dominate in America, and that's about it.
Well, guess where we fucking live, okay? In America.
I'm a globetrotter,
I want to see
Steve.
the numbers for America. Number two, the rest of the world is dog shit compared to America, okay? And they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Lost our one international fan.
They know that. They wish they were here. Why do you think they're listening to an American podcast? and not a fucking Ukrainian podcast because they suck. Ours are better. Our shit's better. So I'm just telling you, get with the shit that we got going on here. Don't listen to all this other bullshit. You probably don't even listen to American news. What are you in, BBC?
Hell
Are you
yeah.
listening to BBC?
Yeah, it's at least unbiased.
I'm an Al Jazeera guy.
I am. What's that fucking that alt-right one?
Oh yeah, what American News?
I'm ONA.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm Opie and Anthony. No, I don't know what I am, but all I know is I just want to be able to see text messages to go through in a timely fashion and not have to sit there and panic that I sent something to two of you and
Well,
Brenton's
again,
fucking phone.
I think you're putting blame in the wrong place because one of us was here on time and the other was not.
Again, I'll
link.
go back to my original statement, Your Honor.
It has nothing to do with my phone does not block your messages to Lucas.
You're Amber Heard. I'm Johnny Depp. I'm right. You're wrong. Everyone likes
Technically,
me,
we're both wrong.
you.
Technically, we both lost.
Hates you.
We both lost.
If we took a poll of our fans, they would over 87%, the majority share, as you would like to put it, would overwhelmingly like me and hate you. And you know that's the truth.
Yeah, but I'm surprised that it's that high for me.
I'm surprised too.
I'll take it.
So yeah, I mean, it's been a while since the last time we talked to you. A lot of shit's happened. The Queen is 70 years old on the throne, and that was a big deal yesterday. And then today she can't get out of bed because she was celebrating too hard. There was like 17,000 parties yesterday. She didn't go to any of them, but today she can't get out of bed. It's time to give that fucking thing up. It's time to go, hey, you know what? Maybe I watched like a second of that yesterday. She didn't know where she was. She kept looking around, the grandson screaming and crying, the great grandson screaming and crying. And Charles looks like he just wants to push her over the fucking balcony and take that crown. So that happened. Fucking Rangers playing unbelievably. I mean, 2 game sevens, not one, 2 game sevens, 1 overtime, 1 we just fucking unbelievably walked into a place that nobody's been able to win all playoffs in, and finally stole a game in fucking Carolina to win that game 7. And then everyone's like, oh, the Lightning are going to come in there, 9 days off, well rested, blah, blah, blah. And the Rangers are like, fuck you and your fucking goalie, and just lit them up game 1. Now, they needed to win game 1. They lost game 1. That's the problem. At home, that's the problem. So it's not like they stole one. They needed to win that game. If they want to win the series, they had to win that game. So it's good. They did what they had to do. I really would love if they could win tonight as well to get to both games, because even that would give us a little bit of cushion going back. But they've been it's exciting to watch a young line, Cockle's line. That's how you say his name, Cockle. That young, what they call the kid line, it's been so much fun. So I mean, it's just have them maybe like the 3rd or sometimes the 4th line come in and just steal a couple goals or it's great. Their forechecking is great. The defense is great. So far, fingers crossed, they look really, really good. Although, I mean, Tampa hasn't lost a series in 2.5 years. 11 series in a row. That's
But that's that could be their downfall. They've been in it for the last couple of years.
No, they're going to lose
sometime. 9 days off. It doesn't matter. They're exhausted. They're playing an extra 30 games a year the last 2 seasons.
It's they're going to lose at some point. I don't know if it's going to be. But my point was the Rangers didn't have a luxury to be able to go down 2-0 in this series.
Yeah,
like they did against against Carolina or Pittsburgh, or go down 3-2. They got to stay even or on top, because this is a team that 2-time defending Stanley Cup champion. So we had that. I'm excited about watching, and playoff hockey is the fucking best. It really is. Justin Thomas won a major, his 2nd, I believe. Yeah, he's got 2 now. 2 PGA championships. He won a 2nd PGA championship at Southern Hills in Tulsa. 2 weeks ago, which was, he came from 7 strokes back, real tough course. And I feel bad for that kid, Perea. I don't know if you guys saw what happened, but he comes to 18 with a 1-stroke lead. I mean, 1 or 2. Yeah, 1-stroke lead. All he has to do is par, and he gets in, puts his first shot into the water, which was like he said he had no idea that he was even capable of doing that, which is like, if you say that, you're like, oh, fuck. Why would you? Of course you're capable of doing it. And so puts his first ball in the water. His third ball throws it up to the rough. Now he's got to get up and down just to make it into a playoff to get 5. And he double bogeys the hole and doesn't even get into the playoff. Justin Thomas and Will Zalatoris go into the playoff. I was rooting for Zalatoris, a.k.a. Owen Wilson, a.k.a. Happy Gilmore's caddy, to win his first major. But, Justin Thomas has just played great. Just, really, like, he's just, he's the new Tiger Woods. He's the only guy that, what separated Tiger is that Tiger was like mentally and, and both physically better than everyone else. But he never really shared what is on his mind, especially during his heavy competing days earlier in his career, or how he broke down a course, or how he went about thinking about, a major or anything like that, or preparation. He always kept to himself. Since like being removed from the game and being like, first being ostracized and then being, injured, he's kind of become more friendly with everybody else. And now he talks to people, and one of his closest friends is Justin Thomas. So if anyone has had the ability to kind of pick Tiger's brain and say like, well, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about, just get everything that a golfer would want to know, it's been him. And he's done that. And he's had and it's an advantage to him because he has the physical capabilities, but to be able to have the mental ability to, like Tiger Woods, that's a real advantage, a real asset. So they're close, and it showed. It sucked that Tiger had to pull out after the 3rd round. He was, he made the cut again in a major, which is, these are going to be the only tournaments this guy's going to play. And he's beating half the field every time he plays, once every month and a half, on basically a half a leg. That course was tough. And then I'm sorry, but the only thing I thought about when I said Tulsa before is the fucking shooting that happened yesterday in Tulsa, because I was like, oh shit. And we've had about 5 of those since then. And I've got a 10-year-old, and I wasn't even able to fucking really move that day. And it was everywhere. It was like on the sports shit. So like I had to explain to Jonah what an active shooter was, even though I think he already knew. So that sucks, but I don't want to get into that. Unless you guys want to talk about that shit. It's up to you. I don't really, I don't know.
I'm not looking to bring down the entire podcast, Steve. Our hearts go out to the victims, and I think we can move on.
Yeah, and the real victim is me, because you won't get a fucking iPhone and just decided to stay with an Android.
There are clearly worse things in the world going on right now.
Name one. The NBA finals are upon us.
Yeah.
So
It's going 7.
I don't know. I mean, I watched the last night, Boston controlled the pace, and they're just a better defensive team. And if they're able to shut guys down, and Curry and Thompson don't have good shooting nights, like, it's going to be a quick series.
No, it is not going to be a quick series.
Boston matches up better defensively. And if
Golden
State allows them to control the pace, that's going to happen. It's going to go 5 games if that happens.
Boston is not going to be able to shoot the way they shot last night over the course of another 4 or 5 games. Okay. You may have maybe one more game of that kind of shooting. But you're not going to have, don't expect that shit every night is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And, the closer the game towards the 4th quarter, the shittier Boston plays. They almost blew fucking game 7 with a 9-point lead with 2 minutes left in the game. So the fact that it wasn't close really last night bode well for Boston, especially being on the road, especially coming off 7 games. So they needed to do that. That was a big, humongous win for them. They stole one, a game that they shouldn't have won.
Let me ask,
what I'm saying is, you're not going to get that from Boston tomorrow night. And by the way, what are they doing this? is this next game on Sunday? Are they giving these guys 2 fucking days off?
I bet they are.
They want to
They're
drag
giving
it
them-
out as long as
So this is
possible.
going to be only done on the 3 biggest money nights for broadcast network, right? Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
Yeah.
Those
It's
are the
actually
3 big nights.
Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday this week. So
Sunday,
they get,
Wednesday, and
Steve
Friday.
stands corrected. That being
But
said,
still,
yeah,
I
they're
mean,
home. Why are
would
you
you-
giving them 2 days off at home? At home.
it's the finals. They just want to drag it out. It's more money.
For what?
Just more people are talking about it more. There's just more hype. They're just dragging it out. They're making the season as long as possible. That being said, I really like the odds on Golden State, so I'll probably put money on the money line. I think they're 4.5 favorites right now, but likely game 2, they'll win by double digits.
I won $50 on Boston for game 7. I gave the 2.5 points. And yeah, because I just said, I go, coming off a loss, they were what, 13-0, something like that, since January. So they have like a ridiculous record. And usually it's not even close. Usually they blow a team out. And I knew that Jimmy Butler wasn't going to shoot like that again or have another game like that, nor was the Heat. So that was my reason for doing it. But I would, I look at it like, I think that Golden State was coming in, and I think everyone thought, although the only thing was the ESPN BPI had Boston 87% chance to win, which was like, what the fuck? Because everyone, I think, beforehand was picking the Warriors.
Boston is Android.
I don't think that they're not Android, dude. They might be Android in the sense that when it comes to crunch time, they're going to break down. When you really need them to get a message through, it may not happen. Okay, but they are a formidable team. They are a good defense, a really good defense. Marcus Smart, defensive player of the year for a reason. You don't expect 6 threes out of him. I don't think you're going to get that every night. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
they got to. There will be a game that Boston will come down to crunch time and they will blow it. They will not look good. So they stole one here. They'll give one away at some point. I still think it's going to be best of 6 or 7. And I think that it'll probably be 7 now because Boston won game 1. And it'll be 7 in San Francisco. And let's see who takes it. At least Boston knows they're capable of winning a big game on the road.
yeah.
I mean, they flew from Boston to Miami, back to Boston, and then to fucking the West Coast in the last like 3.5 days. Now, granted, they get fucking 2 days off now for some ungodly reason that no one can explain to me. Hockey's every other fucking day, like men. What is the problem here?
It's the difference between a hockey player and a basketball player. You know, the one's tougher than the other.
Klay Thompson will play better. Klay Thompson didn't have the best game shooting the other day. I think he only had like 12 or 15 points.
He only took like 13 shots too. It was,
and you know what else? It's like he's usually. I mean, look, the guy has been riddled with injuries the last 2 years. It's remarkable he's even come back, but he is not the defensive player he once was. He used to be lockdown defense.
Yeah.
And although Tatum's a guy that you might need to just try to lock down. He didn't have the greatest game. He didn't play his best game either, Boston. So that's something they can kind of hang their hat on. Like our best player didn't have their best game, and we still won the game. So
isn't it crazy? He's only 23 years old.
Yeah, dude.
I thought he was like 30.
Core. No,
the guy,
no,
he's been in the league for 5 years.
No, they're young. They're super young. These two teams you're going to see for the next 4 or 5 years.
Well, we've seen Golden State. They're not young anymore. It's
but
Boston's young.
They have a mixture of, you got Clay and Draymond and Steph and Iguodala, who are all old. But then you got fucking these 2 guys that are not even 20 yet that are playing major minutes. The 2 guys from the G League. So they're not even 20 years old. And they got Wiggins. And they, so they're young. So they have, they're a mixture, but a good mixture. And all homegrown too. Both these teams have 8 guys that were drafted by that team and play for that team that they were drafted by. So these are drafted teams. These are not like put them together fucking all-star package. These are teams that are, these are the Steph, Clay, Draymond, all drafted. They got Wiggins. But so it's like, these are teams that were put together and built soundly. How good is fucking, what's his name? The new Danny Ainge in Boston, that kid from college.
Yeah. Pritchard.
No, the kid that came out that ran him. He was the coach for the years. Now he's the GM. He was the fucking.
Brad.
What's his face?
Yeah, Brad Gray. No, Brad Watson. Nope, Brad. Fuck.
Brad Stevens.
Cooper. Brad Stevens. Yeah. He was he the Valpo coach or something like that?
Yeah.
The Butler coach. Then he goes over it. He gets the job, gets him to the playoffs many, many years. Then Danny Ainge hands him the reins. He steps back and goes, I don't want to do both jobs. Smartly hires this fucking guy, and then they still go to the finals. As much as I hate the fucking Celtics, you got to take your fucking hats off to them.
Yeah.
By the
really
way,
do.
Did you see the stat that they showed? I think it was in the middle of the third quarter of like the playoff experience, the Warriors versus the Celtics.
Yeah.
And they showed the past, like the Bulls when they played the Jazz, they played like 134 to 0. And I saw that and I'm like, oh, Boston's doomed. There's no way you can go up against that.
But then they walked in there like there was nothing.
Yeah.
And won the game.
They were down by 12 after 3. They went into the fourth quarter down double digits and came out and won by that.
Yeah. So I think that, they didn't seem afraid. They didn't seem nervous. They didn't seem intimidated.
Yeah.
I think, that's just a big number. I think people lean a lot into that because it's such a disparaging number from one side to the other. And it obviously could make a difference, but it didn't show last night. It didn't seem to last night. Last night, they seemed to just kind of, be able to handle the pace of the game, control the pace of the game, and, impart their will. They went big a couple times, and that seemed to throw off Golden State when they had Horford and what's the big guy, their big center,
Brad,
not Wallace.
Tice.
No, the Celtics big center, the big tall dude. The fuck's that guy's name? But they were good. They went big there for a while, and that seemed to throw off
Robert Williams.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's going to be 7 now, but I'm sticking to the Warriors. But it doesn't matter because the next time we do this podcast, which could even be in 3 weeks from now, it still won't be fucking over. We'll still be talking about this goddamn series. Let's talk a little football. Since we've last spoken, what has happened? Fill me in, Brenton. What has gone on?
Mostly people have died, but yeah, I saw something fun out of Cleveland. Apparently, Deshaun Watson has been god awful in practice.
What?
And so the early murmuring out of Cleveland is he better step up his game, or we just burned $230 million on a guy who most likely still isn't going to play this year. He had
what
a
do you mean,
23rd. He's been really bad. Like he had a bunch of incompletions and interceptions and was struggling in their 7-on-7 OTA workouts.
Like Tua Tagovailoa, awful.
Like, I don't know the playbook. I'm not playing good football for what you're paying. They're paying him elite, win us a Super Bowl money, and he's not showing up in practice like that.
26 losses.
I think
for that.
He'll figure it out.
You know that?
He'll figure it out, but I'm just saying it's the early panicking of the beat writers who were in Cleveland watching every snap going, oh shit, this guy does not look good.
You know what I'm thinking? Maybe he thought that he was going to have some time. He's like, I'll probably be suspended. I'll get 6 games. I'll probably have 6 games to try to fucking figure this thing out.
Again, he had a 23rd woman come out against him in the last 2 weeks.
I know, but then I watched that Real Sports piece on him, and, I don't know if you saw it. Did you see it?
No.
They did a Real Sports piece. They interviewed a couple of the women. The women, they're crying. They're They're destroyed. They can't sleep at night, and, they offered him an interview. He declined, but in the last minute, his lawyer said they wanted to be interviewed. So they interviewed the lawyer, and they were like, the lawyers brought out this, like, some of these people that you interviewed continued to text my client after and continued to, have meetings with him. And some of them had like consensual sex with him. And he was like, well, there's a lot of back and forth. So I'm not saying that he's going to get off scot-free. I don't foresee him getting suspended this year, because they said that if there's a civil trial, it won't happen until after the season is over.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing new that's going to come forward between now and unless like another 100 women come forward. I don't know if that's going to happen, but like, I don't think there's anything going to happen between now and the beginning of the season. So I think day one, he will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, like able to play week 1.
You don't think Goodell's going to suspend him just because it's a stain on the league and he's done similar things in the past to players who were, even after they were proven innocent, or things got thrown out?
I think he, and this is Deshaun Watson's stamp, that, what I may have done was like, okay, I may have like elicited, like, he was going about this thing, from what I gather, as more of like looking for sex work. He was confusing these women with sex workers. And I think sometimes some of the women were like down for it and he got used to that. And sometimes some of the women were not down for it. Now, I don't know what, again, some of them had stories about what he did to them as far as like manipulating their hands and this and that. I'm like, if I'm Goodell and I'm looking at him going, well, he's saying that everything was consensual, that nothing happened. And there's sort of, in a sense, there is some sort of proof to that, because there are text messages, conversations after the fact. And actually he met up with some of the women second and third time. That would prove to me, like, so what am I going to suspend this guy for?
Mm-hmm.
Getting a hand job and a fucking massage?
As Robert Kraft goes, exactly.
I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, really, it's like he's got that, like, if that's what it's going to come down to, if that's going to be the extent of what he did wrong, well, there is sort of precedent for that, and nothing was done to Robert Kraft. I'm just saying, like, and I don't think anything should have been done. Hello.
Yeah. So that's happening in Cleveland.
I just don't think
Ryan Fitzpatrick is retiring after 17 seasons.
That's amazing.
9 teams, 17 seasons. He's done. I'm hoping that Buffalo will sign him to a 1-day contract so he can retire a bill. But we'll see.
Frank Gore just did that.
Frank Gore just did that with the 49ers.
I like that move. I had no idea he's third all time.
Yeah. He never got hurt. It's amazing. He was so hurt in college. That's why he fell in the draft.
Yeah.
He needed knee surgeries on both knees at Miami.
Probably the last guy you would have expected to be the Iron Man.
Yeah, like him and Willis McGahee. Like, I was like coming out of Miami, like Willis McGahee shattered his knee. He was steady Eddie. He was 1,000 yards. You signed him to your team. If you gave him enough touches, he was going to get 1,000 yards for you. Guaranteed. 16,000 yards.
Yeah.
Out of the top 15 running backs, only him and Adrian Peterson are not in the Hall of Fame. And they'll both get in. I assume first ballot, probably. Oh. Adrian, maybe not so much.
It's what, 5 years after you're eligible? Adrian will get in. They'll ignore the kid stuff.
Yeah, but I think he just got another thing for like domestic abuse or something. I don't know.
He'll still
he'll get in.
So whatever. Yeah, I mean,
it's like football.
OJ's in. Come on now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was excited for Frank Gore. Trying to think of what else football wise happened. Anything big?
I mean, Deshaun Watson was throwing shit footballs in Cleveland. Our quarterback's playing golf in Vegas.
Oh yes, let's get to
And
that.
he was back on the practice field the very next day. I should point that out. He left Vegas, didn't stay and partied, and was back on the field practicing with his team. The guy is locked in.
Yeah, well, what was there to party about, dude? Did you see him
He was
play?
in Vegas. He was in Vegas.
No, I know, but I'm saying,
I guarantee
like,
you, Rogers is probably still there on a bender with Charles Barkley.
No, Rogers is in the desert doing fucking ayahuasca with Tony Soprano. He's still in Vegas, but he's not like gambling and partying. He's like with Miles Teller and fucking, in a camper out in fucking Death Valley doing some sort of hallucinogenic. And Patrick Mahomes is probably walking around looking for his girlfriend and his brother, trying to get them out of trouble. Who is the best shit talker? I didn't watch it. You watched it.
I'd say
right?
Brady.
Yeah, I would say Brady was the best shit talker.
It's weird because I knew, like, I watched some of the highlights, but it was on a weird time. What time was it on? It was like was it Memorial Day?
It was around 3:30 out here, I think.
Yeah, it's like on a Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, which was like weird. People were working and shit like that. It was sort of like a weird.
Well,
time
they had to
for it
have
be
the daylight to do it live in Vegas. They had to have daylight, so they pushed it probably as late as they could, knowing they could get through the holes before the sun went down. Because we were at the end and it was tied, and if it had gone to a playoff, they might have lost sunlight.
Dude, they could have done it on a better day. They could have done it on Memorial Day.
Well, yeah,
they could have figured out a Wednesday. People are at work. What's the fucking work in this goddamn country?
it was very underwhelming.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no
they had earpieces so they could talk to Ernie and Chuck and all those guys, but then it stopped working maybe around hole 7 or 8. And so you could hear the guys talking to each other, but they couldn't communicate back and forth.
They need Emma.
The sloppiest pod in the world. Please take our advice. Get your shit together, fucking TNT or TBS.
It was TNT. Hire Emma.
Give Emma a shout. All right. Stop paying those Impractical Jokers so much fucking money, and get the audio guys a little fucking cash to fix the sound equipment out there. Shouldn't be this hard to mic up a couple fucking non-professional golfers and have them talk shit together. It's like, should be easy. Did they play 18? Did they play all 18?
No, they played 12.
12.
Mercifully, they played 12. It was not good golf. In classic Brady fashion, Rodgers carried him to a championship. Rodgers was far and away the best golfer, but Brady had the line of the tournament. He said, well, yeah, of course you're good at golf. You skip OTAs every year. All you do is play. So had a good couple of knocks at him. But what fucking bothered me. So Brady signs $150 million contract to be a broadcaster, right?
$300 million.
Oh, it's 300. Excuse me, 300 million. So this makes it even worse. He signs a $300 million contract 2 weeks ago, and this whole thing was for charity. Feed the Hungry, really good organization. So they do these contests on every hole where they're closest to the hole, $100,000 donated. Every time they're saying these numbers, we're going to donate 100,000, we're going to donate 400,000. You hear Brady going, "Wow," almost sarcastically. It's dude, you're going to be worth $1 billion in 5 years. You could buy this golf course and you're just, wow, at 100,000.
He's still a small town boy that went to Michigan, dude.
Wow.
He never expected to have all this fucking cheddar in his life. He's keeping it real, Brenton.
But Josh Allen's golf ball was Brady's combine photo. He had that put on the ball.
That's hilarious. I saw Josh Allen get ribbed by him about having the Super Bowl, the Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah, Mahomes had a good line. They asked him, "What's the biggest fear of your teammate?" And he said, "A coin toss." And JJ Watt was really, really good on camera, so he'll be a good broadcaster. What was he doing? He was just hanging out and riffing, and
he was on the course with them, or was he
No. He was in the booth with Chuck, who was amazing. And at one point, Charles Barkley is trying to compliment Allen, and he goes, "Josh, I just love watching you sling that thing." And Josh was like, "What?" Oh, he kind of came to "Oh, you mean throwing the football?" He thought, I thought you meant laying pipe.
Dude, maybe fucking Allen laid some serious pipe too. Who knows? That could be something that fucking Sir Charles is into. They might have something in common. Two unbelievably great players can never win a championship.
But I will say Charles Barkley, when he has to just create dead air time, is a delight. And at one point he's talking to Tom and he's like, I really like that watch. I'm going to get me a watch like that. And Tom's like, I'll just give it to you. The guy got a free watch out of just hanging out
And doing just talking shit.
Probably.
You know, Charles Barkley, yeah, that's what he's good at. You know, he'll dig a hole and he'll say stupid things sometimes and he'll get in trouble for it. But you know what? It's who else would you? I wish they had Pat Perez too, he's a golfer who's like the Charles Barkley of golf. Like
they did have a golfer with them. I didn't know who it was. He had a pretty heavy accent.
You know, considering I started doing these companion casts for the Masters, everyone sort of ripped me off my idea. And now, you know, the Mannings do their Manning cast, and for the PGA Championship, Joe Buck and
I told you to copyright
it. I know I should have. Joe Buck and the ESPN caddy Michael Collins did a little side cast, and they had, you know, people like the way that the Mannings do. Every like couple holes they had guests on, and they had Pat Perez on, and he was fucking great, really great. Just telling, you know, he's like I like guys that are like, oh, I know why I'm here. Like it's like a podcast. I'm here to tell some great stories.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Oh, they had the most random thing. So in order to get your mulligan, you had to throw a football. The guy would stand like 10 yards away and you'd have to throw a football at a Charles Barkley, like giant head. But they had the actor that plays Jake from State Farm was just there. And he was the guy that would hold that. And then Charles just could not get off the fact, oh, I just met him. His name's Kevin. And they were like,
it's not even Jake, man.
Are you disappointed?
It's not even Jake.
Well, yeah, you know, everyone who sees him, they're going to say, oh, that's Jake. I mean, why not just call him Kevin from State Farm?
Can you believe this man's name is not Jake? It is indeed Kevin.
It's like
if I called you Kenny, if your name was Kenny, but I called you Paul. Kenny, would that make sense to you, Kenny?
It was like a kid finding out Santa Claus wasn't real. He was so bummed out that it wasn't really Jake.
Jake from State Farm. Yeah, I'm sure
that was probably the highlight for me. I enjoyed that very much. But
otherwise,
it was underwhelming. Did anyone ever not what?
Did anyone miss the Charles Bart? Like, did anyone not get their mulligan?
Oh, no. They all got it. They all got it.
Okay.
But I will say, out of I don't think Rogers actually took his mulligan, but out of the three that did, Allen's the only one who didn't take a bunch of warm-up throws. He just chucked it right at the sign and then let's go.
That must have made you so hard.
Yeah, it was very good. But I will say, Allen, he can drive the ball pretty far, but he's not that great of a golfer.
Good.
I know. Yeah, that's exactly
it says a
what
lot.
you want.
It says a lot.
Yeah. You want him to get really good in like 15, 20 years. That's when he's supposed to start to get good at it. If he's golfing a lot, that means he's off a lot. I mean, I'll go back and watch. I watched a lot of the highlights. You know, when you're like online, it's like it's just you see every good shot, all the good shit talking. They condense it all. Are you watching any OTAs? Are you like getting?
I read.
Are you?
I just read reports.
Positive, negative.
Everything out of Buffalo is pretty positive. We did have a special teamer test positive for PEDs, so he's out the first 6 games, but he's a linebacker who didn't play a single defensive snap. He's literally just a special teamer trying to make the roster. So now it just raises the stock of the guy that we drafted this year. I mean, next man up. But other than that, it's been all positive out of Buffalo.
I love Dabble, dude. I'm really liking this guy. Thank you for him. Number one, not only is I think he's doing a good job coaching, building this team, getting a good culture going, but every time he shows up at a Ranger game, they fucking win. He went to game 7 against at home when they had game 7 at home. They fucking won against Pittsburgh. So he shows up there. They went all the games at home against Carolina. He fucking showed up. They won. So good luck charm. And if he could do half as good coaching the Giants as he is as a good luck charm for the Rangers, we're going to be fucking pretty good this year.
Mm-hmm.
And here's a hot take for you. You ready for this? You guys sitting down?
Yeah.
Giants making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, you could as a
Yeah.
wild card, sure.
Your
The
division
NFC is
sucks.
Give it to
terrible.
me like that's not a hot
The
take.
NFC is terrible. You're playing in the worst division. Someone's got to not suck the most.
It will be us.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. If he can do his little quarterback whispering to Daniel Jones, who still could be a halfway decent quarterback. He's got raw talent. He just hasn't put it together. Yeah, they could be good. I think Saquon Barkley is going to be a very underrated player going into this season. He's got his burst back, and I think he's going to finally, with an offensive line,
Evan
be
Neal.
the guy that you drafted him to be.
Come on, dude. And I'm telling you right now, more yards for Saquon Barkley than Ezekiel Elliott.
I would
Yeah.
be on that side of the bet this year. But I was also very correct last year in everything I said.
You're a cunt about
I
that.
said the Giants line sucks. They're going to stack the box against them, and Barkley will likely get hurt. And everything that I said happened, despite the fact that Zeke played awfully.
I feel we all lost on that bet.
No, I actually won.
I mean,
You-
Zeke,
both
I'm
lost on
glad
that
you got
bet.
cut off. I'm glad it doesn't. I'm glad whatever you just said didn't come through.
I said I won. I won. And Steve, I'm talking to you on a MacBook Air. So if it's not working, talk to the fine folks at Apple.
Oh, please. I'm on an Apple thing too, and my shit's working fine. My shit's 100 years old too, my computer. It's literally 100 years old, Brenton. Okay? 100 years old. You couldn't drive when I bought this computer. You couldn't drive me to the Apple store to pick it up. Oh, speaking of driving, we had our first away baseball tournament over Memorial Day weekend. That was fun, dude. That was fun. Getting 10-year-olds together in a hotel in Connecticut. This fucking place was not ready for us. The other people that were staying there were not happy that we were there. We ransacked the fucking pool. It was an indoor pool. People I think we're coming for staycations, dude. These boys fucked this pool up. They were in there for every moment that you could possibly be in the pool. When they weren't playing baseball, they were in the pool. When we weren't in the pool, we were eating pizza or swinging baseball. We went to the batting cages, putt, to the fucking go-karts. We did an escape room. We ate, did I say we ate pizza? We ate so much fucking pizza. We went 2-1. 2 great games, 1 real fucking stinker. Lots of laughs. They talked about who's girlfriend, who's got a girlfriend. They figured out how to they played ring and run on people's doors. We got they were like, can you control the kids? We're like, we're doing the best we can, dude, but we're drunk. The
were
parents
you playing it with them?
No,
You didn't ring
weren't.
any doorbells, did you?
No, I try to tell them, dude, we're going to get kicked out. We're going to be homeless on the street. There's no other place to go. This is Memorial Day weekend. We get kicked out of this hotel. We're out. This is your first and last baseball tournament on the road. And so they stopped doing that. Then they figured out how to call each other's rooms and stuff, like the hotel rooms, and they were prank calling. Then they were calling other people's rooms. So, it was a blast. We had a really, really fun time. Yeah, Jonah was great. At the end, he's like, Dad, thanks for taking me. And I was like, dude, this was like my favorite thing ever. This is all I want to do. So, yeah, I'm officially telling you right now, I'm going to be a name and likeness agent for 10U baseball. I'm going to go around the country looking for the best 10U players, and I'm signing them to a name and likeness deal to Steve Renazizi agency.
It's a
How's that
very
sound?
lucrative job.
Some kid in the high school that my kids go to, well, they don't go to the high school yet, but the high school of the school that they go to, he is the first high school kid to get a name and likeness deal, $100,000 to wear the lacrosse gloves that he usually buys. Because he's the #1 lacrosse recruit in the country. He's going to Syracuse. So he's getting $100,000 to wear the gloves that he probably had to buy at the beginning of the fucking season.
Good for him. I'm glad they're finally paying these guys.
Did you see? Speaking of this, did you see what Brian? I think it's Brian Day. Who's the coach of Ohio State? Day, right? Not
Yeah, it's
Jason
Day.
Mhm.
Someone Day. Anyway, he was having a conference with the Ohio State, the business community, the top 100 businesses, and he blatantly told them, he's like, "We're going to need $13 million from you guys this year in name and likeness deals." That's the number. Like literally laid out the number. I've done the math. It's going to be 13 million. So that's what you guys have to come up with this year. And that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
There's a going rate now. You got kids now that are like, I'm not going to go to that school unless I get at least $800,000 in name and likeness deals. Whether it be with your fucking local car dealership or your whatever it is, your fucking chiropractor, whatever it is, Coca-Cola, whatever it is, I want that fucking cash. And I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they're doing this, that they're finally able to get that money, because now coaches finally have to figure out, and I'm not saying they're pro coaches or GMs to a certain extent, but your job has gotten harder, and they don't, you're going to pay a kid now because there's the portal. He could come there and he might not even play for you, and they can leave the next year.
Mhm.
So they got to deal with that. And I'm happy about that, because that's what those cunts have been doing for years.
Mm-hmm.
Get a better deal, go over there, sign some great players, win a couple games, promise the fucking world to the recruits, and then, it's a better job over there. See you guys later. Good luck. Bye-bye. And I like the fact that the players have it a little bit of leverage now. Look, most of these fucking guys never make it in, and the most of them never make it to a level where they'll have financial success. So whatever you can get at the level you're at right now. And by the way, it's like, oh my God, what are you gonna do? $13 million? That's probably about just as much or maybe even less than they were doing under the table for the last fucking 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like
That's
this
very
is a
true.
new budgetary, column that we have to come up with the money for. This is happening anyway. It just has to happen on paper now, you cunts. The Yankees are the best baseball team in the world, 36-15. We're 21 games over 500. I wanted to be 20 games over 500 by June 1st. We accomplished that. Let's try to get to 30 by the end of this month. And just stay hot. It's not like the Boston Red Sox aren't going to be anything this year. They're going to be fighting the Orioles for last place. So Toronto and Tampa are going to constantly stay on us.
Toronto's on a tear right now. They've won 8 straight.
I'd rather be the Yankees and have a team at least kind of, stay with us and keep us motivated than I think the Mets are already like 12 games out or 10 games out in front.
Yeah.
Those leads, all they can do is evaporate. And once they start to, people are going to hit the panic button, You stay 5.5, 6 games in front of the team in front of you all year, you'll be good to go. No one ever talks about panic. Nobody ever talks about, implosion. You just did your fucking job all year long. And Aaron Judge is going to end up costing the Yankees 3. They're going to, he bet on himself, and so far, knock on wood, this guy is paying off. He's batting .310, which the league average is .230. When you have a big power hitter hitting almost 100 points over the league average, with 5 more home runs than anybody else in the league, and probably second or third in RBIs, that's you bet on yourself. That's Joe Flacco saying, I'm going to win the Super Bowl and then now give me a contract, which is big. I'm happy for him. I'm glad he did it. The Yankees try to not get away cheap, but they try to get, and the Yankees will still have to deal with, paying him in the offseason if they want to keep him and trying to negotiate a deal. And apparently Juan Soto doesn't want to go away from the Nationals, which the Nationals are trying to keep Juan Soto. I don't think they're going to be able to, because that guy's going to want $400 million, but it could happen. So he might not be traded. The Bills signed wide receiver Tavon Austin. Did you see that?
Oh, really?
Did that just happen?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He was like a top.
Just popped up on my screen.
That's got to be maybe Isaiah McKenzie plays some more snaps, and they have Tavon as like a backup to return kicks.
He's fast, right?
Yeah,
he's
super
top
fast.
off the defense.
He was the 8th pick in the 2013 NFL draft.
Yeah, I remember that. Was he Seattle? Tavon Austin?
No, he was
the Rams.
the St. Louis Rams at the time.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, he was drafted with the Bills pick that they traded out of. So eventually he ended
Finally
up in
got
Buffalo
him.
anyway. Yep.
We are less than 100 days away from the beginning of football. Do you guys realize that?
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
And I know that because I'm getting cameos left and right.
Oh, the
Fantasy.
big news is Aaron Donald and his contract situation.
Oh, I thought he was gay. Oh, okay. Sorry.
That too, but he has said, he's gone on record and said, if the Rams don't figure out a contract, and they don't have a lot of money to work with and they have no cap space, if they don't figure out a contract, I'm at peace with just retiring and moving on from football. So it's probably a leverage play on his part going, hey, I'm serious, guys. You better fucking pay me or I'm out, and I will be out. And he'll ultimately play. But at the same time, I'm going, just retire. Let's save Josh Allen. Let's get through week 1 with a W and him not getting smashed by Aaron Donald. Just fucking, you won. You're good, man. You did it all. You have nothing to prove. Just move on. Because you just signed that lucrative deal with Kanye West's management team. You're going to be making more money doing that stuff than you are playing football. Just save the legs.
What is he doing for? I thought he signed as like to have them represent him.
I thought it was more of a, you're going to have your own like gloves and shoes and stuff like that.
Oh, really? I thought it was more of like, just represent me and you get 10% or whatever the percentage is for what
I hope it's what I thought it was, because I don't know if I'd want Kanye West representing me and negotiating contracts.
Me neither. Also breaking right now, Joe Girardi fired as Phillies manager.
Oh.
After a pretty bad start to the year. Aaron Donald is look, he has nothing else to prove. He won
he
literally doesn't.
A couple times defensive player of the year.
But the
Probably
Rams
should have won an
can't
MVP.
The Rams can't give him the money he deserves because he's not even like top 5, I think, in his position right now. They just don't have any cap space. They would have to restructure just about every contract on that team to be able to give him what he wants. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
San Francisco, I'll be in Cops Comedy Club.
Oh, that's
July 15th and 16th. Next month, July 15th and 16th, Friday, 2 shows, Saturday, 2 shows, Cobb's Comedy Club, SteveRenazzi.com for tickets. And the following weekend, I'll be at Hilarities in Cleveland. 2 of my favorite places back to back. Also SteveRenazzi.com. What's the weekend after the 15th, 16th? Do the math.
20, 22, 23.
Perfect. Thank you, Brenton. That's Cleveland. And I'll be there that weekend. So those are my 2 weekends in July. You guys have any dates coming up?
I'm just in LA. We have an All Things Comedy show June 15th if you're here. And then All Things Comedy is releasing Bill Burr and Friends on Netflix that we shot during the festival on June 6th. So there's a lot of funny people on that.
On Netflix.
On Netflix, yeah. It'll be streaming June 6th.
On the site Netflix.
Yeah.
Which we don't talk about because
we don't talk about Netflix because it was once worth 700. I told him off before we started, Lucas, that the Stranger
October
Things
29th,
for
2021, it was worth
budget. The Stranger Things 4 budget per episode is $30 million.
30?
And the first article after you read that is Stranger Things will not save Netflix.
$30 million an episode. That's insane. And none of it's going to those kids. I mean, it's not like they're making fucking $20 million a piece.
No.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, speaking of rat piss, one final thing. Did you see, so the Mets are playing the Dodgers right now in LA, and apparently the Mets have been complaining about subpar facilities and saying that everything is run down, it's old, it's crappy, and it smells like, and I quote, rat piss. And they would know, being from New York, what rat piss smells like.
Oh, the Mets, dude. They live in Queens, okay? They should be happy to be in Chavez Ravine. Flushing is a dump, okay? I don't know what they're complaining about. No one else complains when they go to LA. Maybe they're talking about the Langham Hotel where they're staying in Pasadena. Could be that may,
Maybe, but I mean, fix your shit if it's bad, LA.
it's fine, dude. LA's fine.
It's the third oldest stadium, so it's probably.
Yeah, but it's
I don't think it's
classic,
been
dude.
renovated. It hasn't been
It's
renovated.
classic.
There might be an argument there.
It has been well, they renovated like stadium.
Major
they renovated it.
Yeah, they had like a whole you get like Benny.
Maybe they
Hanna's
did
and
everything
shit like
but
that.
the visiting locker room.
Fuck the visiting locker
Yeah.
room, dude.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck about the visiting locker room?
It's not
I would-
Iowa. You don't paint it pink and make them feel. It's be classy.
Well, the feminists went after Iowa and the feminists lost. That's how pro-feminist Iowa is. That locker room is still pink.
I fought the law and the feminist law.
But that pink locker room is in pristine working condition.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying is
Hayden Fry
fix your shit.
he made it pink to fuck with the psychology of the opposing team.
I love it.
Well, one more thing, by the way, did you see the video of the man fighting the kangaroo in Australia?
I heard about it. I didn't see the video.
All right, let's just do a screen share here. You got to see this. All right. I don't know. I don't even think we need sound.
Man versus
So,
Roo.
so this is a man in Victoria,
Man versus
Australia. This
Roo.
kangaroo tried to steal his dogs, and he wasn't having none of it. They fought for 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Come on. Fucking
You know, I'd
Here we
fuck
go.
up a kangaroo for road.
dude, I guarantee you right now, I'm looking at this kangaroo. This thing's got to be 5. This kangaroo would fuck you up so badly.
Whoa,
Brendan.
good takedown.
Yeah, I think he had it in like a leg lock, an arm lock. Dude, he's swinging hard. I wonder where the dangerous, like, where do you want to get a kangaroo? Like,
And these
probably
pieces
in
of
the
shit,
back?
they're like laughing. Look at this guy.
Do kangaroos have testicles?
Ooh,
would kick that
well,
thing
let's
as hard
check
as I
Google.
could. Right in its
I'm sure
nuts.
the males do, but not the ones with the pouches. The females don't. That looked like it had a pouch. It looked like that poor thing probably lost its baby and it just wanted a dog to put in its pouch.
First thing I'm doing, the roux lines up with me, right? I look at the roux, I look for a pouch. I look for either a pouch or a sack, right? It's got a sack. I throw my right hand, it goes to block, and then my left leg up, boom. I kick that sack as hard as I can. I take that roux and I neck choke the fuck out of it, right? But now I'm lining it up. I look at it. If it's got a pouch, what do? Right? I throw the left hand, it goes to block. I grab that pouch and I rip it off the fucking kangaroo. I rip it off. I cover the kangaroo's face with the pouch. Again, I choke the fucking kangaroo out.
So
I
kangaroo,
pouch.
How is
pouch
that not
rip
a
it.
show, by the way? Wouldn't you watch
Yeah.
a show if there was a Steve Irwin type that taught you how to fight every animal?
Yeah, I just taught you how to fight a kangaroo.
That's
You
an
have to rip off
unbelievable
its pouch.
Discovery
and
would buy that in
smother
a
it.
second. Which, by the
Smother
way, a woman in Yellowstone got gored by a bison because she was getting too close to it, probably taking selfies, and it got her and flung her 10 feet in the air. She survived, thank God. But then all these people, it was trending on Twitter, all these people that used to work at the park were like, stay away from the fucking animals. And one guy was like, yeah, we get calls every day. Hey, the animals are on the loose. And it's like, it's not a fucking zoo.
No way. Ari and I are we're doing shows in Bozeman and Big Sky. So we're going to go golf for a day or two at Big Sky and then go hike for a couple of days. So maybe
Stay
we'll
the
get
fuck
fucking,
away from the bisons.
Mhm.
you don't have to worry about me bothering any bison.
I think
Okay.
Wow.
bison's
How would
still-
you fight a bison?
I would let it eat me. And then I would attack it from the inside out. Hopefully I'd have my arm still attached to me.
It's
And
smart.
because you're not going to overpower a bison.
No.
The only thing I could do is take out its eyes. How do I get to a bison's eyes?
You gotta avoid the horns and kind of try to. I don't know.
could get on back and ride it. I'll ride it for a while, a second.
By the way,
Well, go ahead.
kangaroos do have testicles. They're right above the penis and highly mobile, according
But
to
above
Google.
the penis?
Above the penis.
above.
I
the
guess
penis.
it's Australia, so everything's backwards there.
Nailed it. So the penis is, So it looks like a face, like it's like this, and then the
Like eyeballs,
testicles.
yeah.
And they're very wait. The testicles are
Are
mobile?
very mobile, so they can move throughout the body. They got more room than.
So you're saying that if I eat, I wouldn't
So
necessarily.
you go to
stun
hit and
I
it
kicked
goes
it,
and dodges.
and those testes go in, and they're like, that could be tough.
Yeah.
I might not. Brenton, I would watch a kangaroo fuck you up so bad. I would pay so much money to charity to watch a kangaroo box you. I'm talking like I would even get like a weight class. I wouldn't even just take any kangaroo. I'd have
If
to
you
look for
are
one of
able
your
to
weight
raise, I will set the bar at $5 million.
classes. 5 million.
If you are able to raise 5 million for charity, and it has to be a good charity, not
Cool,
your golf charity, I will fight a
Mark-
kangaroo for you.
Hi, Mark Zuckerberg.
I will fight an adolescent kangaroo because it's not fair if it's above my weight class. Like a baby adolescent kangaroo.
Hey, Whitney Cummings. I know you love animals, and I know you have money. Here's 2 things that we can do. Brenton wants to fight a kangaroo. How do we do this humanely, and how do I raise $5 million to make this happen? We're going to reach out to anyone that has a philanthropist, like one of those people that loves to throw money around, that's a big fan of this podcast. I'm sure we have many. Please let us know how we can get a kangaroo and $5 million together. I would get one of those Ocean's 11 heist teams and rob something to get the money together, just so we can make this happen.
Well, maybe your lottery ticket will finally come through.
I think that $5 million, you have to go at least 10 minutes fighting
Yeah.
for $5 million.
Yeah.
I don't want you going like, oh, like it's going to be like 3 1-minute rounds. I'm talking about 10 minutes at least. I'll give you 2 5-minute rounds.
Well, assuming that it
kangaroo's
doesn't,
not going to need a fucking break.
Yeah, assuming it doesn't knock me the fuck out. Yes, I
Even
obviously
if it
will try to
does,
survive as long as possible.
and you have to survive for another 9. If it knocks you out in the first 30 seconds, you have to survive 9 minutes and 30 seconds of that kangaroo beating the fuck out of you before we stop this thing. This thing's for $5 million for charity, dude. There will be blood. I'm going to see Top Gun tonight. Has anyone seen it?
No, I've only heard great things though.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm going to IMAX. I'm bringing the fam. My mom's coming. She doesn't know it's an IMAX. She doesn't like loud movies.
Ooh.
She doesn't
That's
like.
a good one to take her to.
Yeah.
She wanted to see. She knows she's going to see Top Gun, but she doesn't like the IMAX part I left out, and that'll be fun for me because she'll get there and she'll be like, "What the fuck?" So that'll be cool. And then next week I have a awesome golf trip with my friends. We do every year in Ocean City, Maryland. Last year I didn't make the last round because I was vomiting. So it's we hit the wall hard. We hit it hard. So it's gonna be fun. What else? That's it for me. You guys have anything else you want to add?
No, it's been a good week.
Yeah. How's the stock market doing? Should I look or not?
Not good.
No,
Not good.
don't look.
Elon
Just
said.
Throw your phone away.
Elon
What did he
said
say
this
today?
morning- He's that fucking idiot. He can't shut up. He said that he's worried about the market and that Tesla's freezing hiring. Yeah, he worded it worse than that. He said
I read that he was worried about the economy and he's cutting
Yes.
10% of all Tesla jobs.
that's exactly right. And it's fucking everything up.
Yeah.
He says he has a super bad feeling on economy.
Oh, great. He said yesterday, everyone's got to go back to work too. He's like, I
Yeah.
want all you cunts at your job, at your office.
Yeah.
This is just, he's like, I'm not renting this office for a fucking, a mobile like hangout once in a while.
Yeah.
Get
He's
to
like,
the goddamn office.
he's like, I sleep in the office. You can work in it.
Oh my God.
He needs to shut up. I'm sorry. I'm sick of it. He's moving the market too much.
Yeah.
He sucks.
He's
Where's
no
Warren
longer
Buffett?
moving Doge up. He's moving
But
everything
Warren-
down.
Warren Buffett used to come in and just go, guys, it's cool. Here's what I bought. You should buy that too. Everyone bought it. Fucking thing went up. Everyone was psyched. This
Hey,
guy is negative Nelly.
Yeah. Buffett is buying, so that's a decent sign.
Well, you buy when it's
He's got all
down.
the money in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to buy it. I'm, it's like I'm going crazy with this fucking Netflix. Don't get me started.
You just got to stop looking at Netflix and buy into something else while it's low.
I don't know.
Buy into a company that makes money.
It really should. Fucking Netflix. All right. That's the podcast this week, ladies and gentlemen. We had a good thing going towards the end. We always peter out. I love you guys. Thanks for listening, rating, subscribing, blowing each other, making love. Happy birthday. Happy Kwanzaa. Merry Christmas. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you for your service, and we'll see you next week.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Thank you very much for joining me. How you been? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Steve Renazizi. I'm the guy.